why we're here, and we have to know who we are. But
Greetings,
that last question,
everybody.
the answer is always changing. It's that third question. You have to know why you're
Of
here.
course, we're
That the
at the
naming
Atlantic Canada
ceremony
Climate Network meeting.
helps
It
us,
is May.
because
I
the
wanted to
naming
share with you
ceremony
some Indigenous
gives
art
us all
here
this
as we
spirit
start the meeting. This is
and is part of
by
it.
Decolonize called First People, my
That
band called
spirit
Handsome
comes from
Tiger.
the Creator, and the Creator sends that spirit to us.
You guys are
Knowing
really
that
down into Indigenous music and you love the Snotty Nose Reds kids, which I have to say I'm a
the
huge
Creator
fan
has
of.
given to us.
You would love Handsome Tiger. And as we get a little further into the song, it gets upbeat, and I thought it would be a great way to start as we're getting into the nicer weather. Get everybody feeling some great jams here. And of course, if you have some Indigenous artists to share with us, we would love to showcase not just music, all forms of art as we create a safe space here at the Atlantic Canada Climate Network General Meeting. This meeting is going to be recorded as well. So if you're not able to join us today, but you're catching us online afterwards, thank you. So much gratitude for you coming here. And we have so much exciting news to share with you today. But before we get started, I wanted to do a really good introduction. Let everybody know why we're here. So, our mission at the Atlantic Canada Climate Network is to connect folks working on climate action within Atlantic Canada and to create and center justice, collaborate effectively, and leverage available resources and capacities efficiently rather, as we reduce emissions and respond to the climate change impacts. So addressing climate change is increasingly important to the health and well-being of our community, of course, our planet. Welcome to everybody that's just coming in and getting settled. Over time, here we've noticed throughout our work that different organizations experience the same needs, the same barriers, successes, and more. And without a convenient, ongoing communication channel between climate champions, we risk limiting ourselves to disjointed, incremental changes. So that's why we're here. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that we are connecting today on traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqiyik, Passamaquoddy, Penobscot, and Abenaki nations, or the Wabanaki Confederacy. This territory is covered by treaties of peace and friendship, which these nations first signed with the British Crown in 1726. These treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. It is in this spirit of peace and friendship that I greet you and welcome you all today. Our goal here is to reduce barriers, create collaboration across Atlantic Canada, and of course, we aim to critique dominant ways of knowing, thinking, and doing, and to bring in new perspectives, engagement methodologies, voices, worldviews, and opportunities for education to all Atlantic Canadians. So, with that, very grateful to have you all here. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is Handsome Tiger. It's called First People. You can find them on SoundCloud, on Spotify. And I encourage you, if you have not already dived deep into Indigenous music here in Canada, it's a worthwhile adventure. I do love it myself. So let's get into it. I got lots of stuff to talk about today, but first I want to give a huge shout out to the people that helped make this happen. So, our steering committee here at the Atlantic Canada Climate Network. Um, Obviously, everybody is really important to have to help steer where we're going. We have a lot of minds working on this. And if you guys are interested in becoming part of the steering committee or feel that the network could bring forth the new initiatives that could further your work, let us know. We would love to be a partner, or we would love to be able to facilitate and provide more opportunities for us to connect and be collaborative. So without further ado, we'll get into it. For those who have not met me, my name is Ashley Anthony. I am the Regional Engagement Coordinator for the Climate Reality Project Canada. So I'm based here in St. John, New Brunswick on the Wolastoqiyik River. And I would really love to start this meeting by welcoming you all. So gracious for you guys to be here. And I again want to extend some thank yous for being part of this network, and it's meaningful for Atlantic Canadians to work together, right? So I am going to, as always, drop my links in the chat if anybody wants to reach out to me afterwards to talk about how we can meaningfully work together here, or about any other opportunities that you feel that we could offer as a network, let me know. We started up member signups as well. So this is something that we launched in the reminder for this month's meeting. Essentially, as we send out those reminders and the follow-ups for the meetings, we're going to include a link. And this is going to allow about 3 to 4 people to pre-sign up before our next month's meeting. And this will ensure that you get about 3 to 4 spots to talk, 4-minute spot to talk about your work, your initiative, whatever you want. I'll share that link in the follow-up. So if you guys are looking to speak next month, just make sure that you sign up on that link and you're guaranteed a spot. We're also going to talk about a new offering for the membership, and the network is going to be called the Innovation Speaker Series. We've been working on it behind the scenes and we're really excited to talk more about it. And then, of course, after that, we're going to give the floor to everybody and have an opportunity for all of us to discuss what we're working on, any upcoming events, any highlights that we want to share, anything really. That's what we're here for, right? So let's start with our member roundtable. We did have a few people that signed up for this month. Shitang Shu from the Oath Project. He is one of our steering committee members. He's going to be here shortly, but he has a meeting that's running over. But Lily, you did sign up as well to speak about the Nature-Based Climate Solutions case study and webinar series. We're really excited to hear about that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to pass it on over to you, Lily.
Great, thank you. I'll give a little bit of background on the project that I coordinate because this webinar series is connected to it. So I work as project coordinator with the New Brunswick Environmental Network on a research and knowledge initiative supporting municipalities with climate risk mitigation through nature-based and natural infrastructure. And ultimately, our project is working towards creating a cost-benefit analysis framework that can be applied at the municipal decision-making level to assist with implementation of nature-based solutions over human-made ones and help municipalities really understand the cost breakdown and also the benefits that are associated with nature-based solutions, including the benefits for the residents in the community and providing opportunities for recreation and improved mental and physical well-being, opportunity and benefits for biodiversity and habitat, reduce damages to traditional built infrastructure, as well as many others. And we did engagement sessions throughout New Brunswick in the month of February and March with municipalities to really understand what some of the barriers have been in their work towards nature-based solutions, what information they need to progress in working towards using nature-based solutions, and what their overall interests and support for them are. And one thing that came out of that is that there's not a lot of knowledge about existing projects that are nature-based in response to the effects of climate change throughout Atlantic Canada, but especially New Brunswick. And although in the past here at the NBN, we have featured many different projects on our community of which I'll link to. I'll send a couple links in the chat after I mention this. There's still a lot of the questions that we were hearing were things like, where do municipalities actually access the funding to do these projects? Where do they find the materials? Where do they find the expertise and contractors who are familiar with building nature-based solutions? What have some of the successes been? And what have the benefits in real life been for the communities? And so we've organized in partnership with Nature Envy and Climate Atlantic a 7-part webinar series that covers different types of nature-based infrastructure. I'm sending a link in the chat to a page that goes in depth on each of the different webinars throughout the month of June and July. And the first one is on June 1st, so 2 weeks from today, on dune restoration. And then we'll be holding one on the development of bioswales and rain gardens, mapping natural assets and the long-term management of nature-based solutions, which is a challenge that many municipalities face because they're not familiar with the necessity of long-term upkeep and maintenance. And then we'll also cover hybrid types of infrastructure. So that includes things like living roofs and green shores, which incorporate both the human-made and natural elements, living shorelines, and then a couple that will be organized and led by Nature NB, which are not finalized yet, but will be focused on conservation of nature to respond to climate change and naturalize stormwater management through wetland restoration. And we have representatives speaking at each of these from a couple from PEI and a couple from Nova Scotia, and as well as most from New Brunswick. Some of the speakers are those who work directly in municipalities. Some are from researchers at universities, and some are representatives from NGOs who have led this work. So yeah, we really hope that you folks can share with your networks and join the webinars if you're interested, because it'll be a great opportunity to learn in more depth about existing projects across the region. So yeah, and I'm just sharing the link to our community of practice as well, which has more information and some videos on existing projects in New Brunswick. Happy to take any questions also.
I'm just capturing all of this information and the links as well. So I will send this out in the follow-up. This is very interesting. I love that you have partnered with other organizations to be able to accomplish this goal. Can you talk a little about like what type of, how much effort that took, or like any experience that you gained from that? Or were there any barriers that within like collaboratively working together just to inspire others to do the same, right?
Sure. Well, the Research and Knowledge Initiative project as a whole is a very collaborative project. We have a close project partner in Nature NB. Although the NBN is the project lead, Nature NB works very closely with us, and we're supported by an advisory committee that has representatives from Climate Atlantic, the New Brunswick Climate Change Secretariat, the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick, l'Association francophone des municipalités du Nouveau-Brunswick, as well as Infrastructure Canada. So it's kind of built into the foundations of the work that we're doing. And one of the motivations for this webinar series and really doing it through those collaborations is that, like, our network, although we are a large environmental network, we want to make sure that we're reaching beyond just our circle of members, because it's the municipalities and residents and other communities in other parts of Atlantic Canada as well who we really hope to reach with this series. And so it's partnering with Climate Atlantic, especially for that Atlantic connection. It's really crucial to making sure that we get the word out there. And yeah, I mean, Nature NB, as I mentioned, they're a very close project partner, and they, bring the nature focus, which is, really, really great for the topics of like the pieces of how nature-based solutions also have a large benefit for species at risk and ecosystems. So yeah, I definitely, I mean, it's much stronger to host things, especially big series like that in partnership with other groups, and also received a lot of recommendations of people to reach out to speak at the webinars. And I think if it was just the NBN alone, we probably would not be running a 7-part webinar series. I think initially we were aiming for 4, so it's really quite a lot larger because we have that support from the group.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like that was a really insightful thing to share, and hopefully we can use your model and amplify your work. I'm excited to be able to share this as well. Again, I'll share the links and that were shared in the link with the follow-up email. Does anybody else have any more questions for Lily? Well, thank you, Lily. I really appreciate you sharing this with us, and I will definitely sign up. Shatangshu is not quite here yet. We do have a bit of a low turnout this month, but that's okay. It's getting to the nice weather, and it's going to be harder and harder to get people in seats. So, without any ado, I'm going to hand it over to Andrew, and he is going to talk about our next initiative on how to engage people and get people into seats. I'm going to share my screen here so that he has something that he can talk on. And over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Ashley. So I'm Andrew McKenzie, and I'm part of the steering committee. And one of the things I've discovered over the years is that climate bad news is everywhere. It really and truly is. I mean, all you have to do is turn on the TV and look at what's happening in Alberta and BC and Saskatchewan just to really get a sense of it. And I really wanted to start turning the focus more to the people and some of the tech that's actually coming forward right now that really could turn the tides on this and are actually got the potential to make change moving forward. So what I came up with was the Innovative Speaker Series. And by the way, Lily, you and I do need to talk, because I think that some of the speakers that we're going to want for this might come from your realm and vice versa. So I think there's definitely some synergy here. So anyway, so the whole premise of this is that we're creating an Innovative Speaker Series, and the first person that's going to be speaking to us is a fellow named Kevin Hull. You can see him pictured on the screen here. Just to give you a bit of background, Kevin and I used to do the commute from the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia to Vancouver daily. I did the commute for 18 years, and of course, Kevin was one of these people that I crossed paths with. And he was starting an organization called Emergent Waste Solutions, which is a really ultra cool company. The technology is really cool and it's got potential to make so much impact. The thing is sometimes getting the exposure you need is the challenge. And that's why we want to create this Innovative Speaker Series. So it's not just for the ACCN, but it's also beyond. So if you know people in other industries or other provinces or in the States or other parts of the world, we want to share this with them. We really want this to get out there to everybody. So anyway, so to give you a bit of background on what this is, we want to get a speaker series where I'm going to reach out to different individuals or companies or individuals in these companies to elicit them to come and speak to us for a half hour. I think it's a half hour is what we're limited to. Is that right, Ashley? So half hour, give us the elevator pitch on their organization, what they do, and how this is going to benefit the environment. And then we'll turn it over for another half hour of Q&A. And that's the premise of this. And the thing is that we want to get people in the seats that can actually say, hey, you know what? This is something we can use. And so to give you a bit of a sense of what this company organization is about, and just give you a bit of a prelude to it. So what it is that Emergent Waste Solutions, headed by Kevin Hull, purchased the rights to use this technology called pyrolysis. It's a refined version of pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is the process. And what it does is it exposes carbon-based material, namely waste, plastic waste, tires, wood chips, etc., even sewage, exposes it to extreme heat in the absence of oxygen. And the byproducts the products that come out of this are clean diesel or green diesel, bio oil, see if I remember all the things here, synthetic gas, which also helps to keep the process going, and of course, carbon black. Now, carbon black has multiple uses, and of course, there's also biochar. Multiple uses in fertilizers, tire manufacture, pharmaceuticals, the list goes on and on. They're big. And these are the products. So when you stop and step back from this, you could take basically your landfills are an infinite source of waste that can be fed into the system. Sewage that right now is usually getting sprayed onto fields and becomes what they call midnight oil or something like that, they call it. It's really quite nasty. And the thing is, there's all these different things that can be fed into this, and of course we can get usable products out of it. And so of course this is why we're starting with him, to give them his company the exposure, give him a chance to showcase what they can do, and for you guys to ask questions. And of course we want to get people involved. But one of my big asks for you guys is I need to get other people for this speaker series. Now, I've been starting to collect a little list here, and I'm trying to focus mostly on locally based companies that are doing innovative work, but there's other ones internationally we want to focus on as well. Because there's a lot of really cool upstart companies out there that their struggle is just getting exposure. And I want to start showcasing these individuals, these companies, and give them that exposure. And I think this is the platform we want to do this with. You want to add something to this, Ashley?
No, I think you're doing a great job.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a very exciting new opportunity for the network. As Andrew was saying, like we really want to inspire those and like help those who are trying to innovate to take it to the next level, like to help the, the normalization of this new technology as well. A lot of us, there's this underlying message that either A, we don't have the ability to reach these, goals to mitigate climate change, or B, like we'll never be not reliant on oil and gas. But there is so much technology out there and so many innovative people, especially in Atlantic Canada and in Canada in general, that are doing amazing things that could take us to the next level, but we'll never know unless we talk about them. So over the last few weeks, Andrew, Drew, and I have talked to a number of individuals from organizations that are really trying to put forth this emergent technology, and that's what we're trying to do, is just give them a bit of a platform to talk on. So yeah, this is just the very first, and the idea is that we wanted to present it to our membership first to help steer that innovation. So you guys are really tapped into other organizations or may know about other innovations that are happening that we might not know about. So we would love if everybody, if when you came across something like this, that you could bring it forward to us, you could amplify it for us, and you could help us reach the audiences that these organizations need. We've talked to people like PlayX out of out of Fredericton here, who are building um, essentially Legos, building blocks out of recycled plastic that are indestructible. I watched them take a sledgehammer to it. Like there are so many really cool things happening, but we need to talk about it. They need funding, they need to build capacity, and then they need to be implemented. Emergence Waste Solution was the one we went first with because we feel that this is an opportunity for a technology to be the solution to landfills. And Andrew even said maybe one day we could throw it on a barge, because this whole thing fits into a shipping container, and bring it out to the garbage patch and start, eating up everything that's floating in the oceans. But the reality is that there are solutions out there, and until we start talking about them and making sure that we're amplifying and endorsing them and saying to our elected officials, our people that are making the decisions, or even our own organizations that are looking for collaborative opportunities, like, hey, this is what we should do. Until we start doing that, we're never going to get forward. We're always going to keep up with the status quo. So the whole idea of this innovation speaker series is to really amplify advanced technology and the commitment to research and development, and the pioneering of methods to reduce, repurpose, recycle materials, the innovation of new technologies that could just change the landscape for us all. So that being said, I dropped a link for this event. It's going to happen June 19th at 1 p.m. That's a Monday. We hope that everybody can make it, or that you could share it on your socials as well to help further amplify it. And then we've put together essentially a list of possibilities of people that we could talk to a little further. So I'm going to drop that into the chat as well. And it's just me, I like a good Google sheet with the table on it. And if you have any off the top of your head, companies, organizations, innovators, inventors, people who are just rethinking and looking at life through a new lens that deserve to be in this innovation speaker series, please let us know. The more we know, the more we can amplify for everybody else, right?
So just take this a step further. So we're looking to do September, I believe, is the next one. After that would be November. We're doing it, and then after that, January, and then we'll see if we're getting some momentum here. We may just do it once a month. And it really depends on us getting a few speakers lined up. So if you have, again, if you have a company that you can think of, or an innovative, somebody doing really innovative stuff, let us know. Because again, the whole idea is just amplifying what they're doing and give them a bit broader audience, and just little soundbite you see in the newspaper and think, well, that's really cool, and that never goes anywhere from there. There's a couple of companies I got to look up. There's one somewhere in New Brunswick or Cape Breton, I believe, where they're taking old fishing ropes that get, salvaged, that get found on beach, stuff like that, and actually turn into composite decking. It's like, who'd have thunk?
Who would have
So,
thunk?
yeah, I mean, really, so the whole idea is we want to get, things that are going on in the background that we need to find, we need to hear about and share with everybody. So,
Mhm.
thank you.
No, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate everybody who, contributes online right now and those who are in and going to be engaging in the recording. I'm going to again include this in our follow-up link. So there's no race to do it right now, but it will be there and it will be there for months to come. So essentially, as you run by these people and you're like, that's really brilliant. People need to know more about this. Think about us and we'll help people know more about it. That's what we really want to do. And as of September, we're looking to expand our capacity here as a network too. We want to ensure that everybody who is participating gets the most out of their membership. So we're going to be creating a website, some new social media channels. We have additional volunteers that are coming on as well to help build those communication capacities. And I'm excited to say that this is the project that I'm going to be working on full time. So hopefully by September, when we launch our after summer schedule, we'll be able to offer new expanded offerings. And then in January, we're really looking to ramp it up, as Andrew was saying, with like monthly innovation speaker series, and then the monthly general meetings, and then also any additional offerings. We've talked about things like Pan-Atlantic caucuses, facilitating conversations that you might not be able to reach within your own network, and also hosting webinars for grassroots organizations that might, need more people, more of an audience to talk to. So again, if there's anybody that that's working on the ground or that could use some of the offerings from our network, or if there's anything that you want to suggest that us do, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm not sure, it's half after, so Shitangshu might be getting caught up. He might not make it. We can move on, and then if he comes back, we'll just give him the opportunity to talk then. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask, Andrew? Or share?
I'm all good. I'm
Is
all
it
good.
is there anything that anybody had any questions about?
Tough
Cool then.
audience.
I think it's just a long week for all of us, right? Awesome. And now we have some,
Sorry,
yeah,
I'll ask
Lauren.
you one question. I didn't put my name to present, but if I have some info on an upcoming like report.
You have time right now.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect. My name's Lauren Matheson. Excuse me. I'm in Jabuktuk in Mi'kma'ki in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I work with the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives in the Nova Scotia office. And I'll put all this information in the chat, but I just wanted to let people know that we have a report release coming up June 6th, and there's a webinar report launch that's happening, excuse me, June 7th, 4 o'clock Atlantic time. And the report itself is a partnership with the CCPA BC office and their corporate mapping project. Excuse me. And so the report itself is a focus of Atlantic Canada with Quebec on fossil fuel lock-in and resistance to extractivism in Eastern Canada. And so the launch itself will hear from the report authors on the state of the carbon extractivism in Eastern Canada. And there'll be French translation as well. And the report itself focuses on the Atlantic provinces and Quebec. And yeah, so I can put more information in there, as well as a link to the larger corporate mapping project that has done publications out of mostly in the Western Canada. So,
Lauren, do you mind if I post that on our social media and Facebook groups, just to kind of blast out the event?
that'd be great, Drew.
Great. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm trying
that'd be great.
to, as we go through the meetings, just keep live updates going on through our social media. So that'd be great.
Definitely. And so when I click, I'll click enter right now. So you'll see there is a link to it's online. So there is a Zoom registration that people are welcome to register for now as well.
Cool. Thank you very much. I'm posting that now.
Awesome. Very efficient.
we're learning to gain capacity here. You know, it's one of those Rome wasn't built in a day, but we're all very, very ambitious and we want to make sure that, you know, we're reaching those goals of transparency around all of this, right? Like all the work that all of us are doing are really important. And so if we're not working together to amplify that, then what are we doing, right? It's about the harmonization of the Green Choir, not all of us just competing together. Is there anything that anybody else wanted to share about events that just happened? If you have any recaps that you would like to share, any wins, any losses, we'd love to hear all of that as well.
Sure, I guess I have something. I'll also introduce myself. My name is Amanda. I just started working with Climate Reality Project Canada, so I know I've contacted you minimally, Ashley, so I'm still learning and just getting to know everybody. I also work for the Conservation Council of New Brunswick, so I've been hard at work this week, kind of following the biodiversity engagement kickoff symposium that happened with the federal government. What we're really working on right now is we're trying to get as many people as possible to fill out that online survey that the government has created to help, you know, get Canadians' opinion on what they want in a biodiversity strategy. I could definitely get the link for that if anyone needs it.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Amanda, if you want to share the link for that, like we can amplify that in our follow-up as well.
That would be great.
And speaking of St. John, since you know, I always talk about Pan Atlantic work that we're doing, something that's happening here in St. John that I'm really excited about. So St. John we just launched a community climate hub. So that's essentially like a citizen-led group that is looking at accelerating the work being done locally on climate adaptation, mitigation, keeping our elected officials accountable, all those wonderful stuff. We've been hosting a few meetings since like the beginning of the year, and we're really excited that on the 13th of June at Connection Works, which is uptown St. John, we're hosting an interdisciplinary, I guess is how you would say it, an intersectional community planning meeting. So we have just sent out a number of invitations to all of the local social justice groups, everybody that's working on some aspect of community living. So from, you know, like Pulse and those who are working on like food security and community gardens to like Chroma, who is working on LGBTQ and human rights issues, and anybody in between. We've extended invitations to the Peace and Friendship Alliance as well. And the idea is that St. John right now is really invested in creating a community energy plan. And they've been going through stakeholder engagement. But the response from the community is that the stakeholder engagement hasn't really been that effective. And this is the first time they're actually doing stakeholder engagement. Although they just implemented a new garbage pickup system, they just implemented a new bus system. And a lot of people are feeling disconnected from, you know, the powers that be. And so the idea is that as St. John continues to forge a corporate or municipal plan, that the community is also going to author and tailor a plan that's based on our priorities, our preferences, and what we believe should be accelerated. And then we're also looking to include all of the different intersectional work that all of these other groups, these social justice groups and organizations, grassroots organizations are doing as well. So we can really capture a big picture of what's happening in the city and apply pressure on the sections that we need to. Thankfully, we've worked with the Green Cities Fund, and they created a Green Communities Pathway project that's also talking about green infrastructure. So there's a lot of different layers, and of course, ACAP. Jack is here. He's a new member of ACAP St. John. So they have created some plans as well, and we're really looking to kind of harmonize these all together so that you know, the people who live in the city get to determine where we go as well. And then in addition to this, there's also going to be a number of educational opportunities so that as we talk about these very complicated intersectional issues and how they relate to each other, people are learning and growing and building that capacity and that comprehension of what's happening around them so that they can participate in these larger conversations. So I'm excited. We're looking to do the same thing in Fredericton as well. So if anybody here knows any climate warriors in Fredericton that would like to be part of that initiative, tell them to either reach out to me or reach out to Margot Shepherd, who is their local elected official, and she will forward any names to me of anybody that wants to kind of do this community group. Yeah, so that's something that I'm kind of excited to share. Is there anything else that anybody else wanted to share? Jack, do you want to talk about, you want to introduce yourself first?
Hi, sure. I might be in a noisy place, but
No, it's all good.
should be okay. Yeah. Yeah, my name's Jack. I'm in my like 5th week at ACAP, so I'm relatively new, but I have a background in biology and sustainability. And my job at ACAP is to oversee some of the climate change project. So a lot of what we do is working with communities on like rain gardens, deep paving, planting events. So yeah, right now I'm definitely looking to make community connections so I can know, which groups to go to for volunteers and to consult about, what to do for my projects. Also very interested in attending that event you just talked about.
I'll send you the info. Don't worry. Roxanne already
Awesome.
has it too.
Okay, great. Yeah.
You guys just had a community cleanup this past weekend. How was that? There was a large amount of people.
Yeah, it went really, really well. About somewhere between 80 and 100 people showed up, if I'm remembering right. And we split up into 9 groups, dispersed around like a very heavy shopping area. So there's so much trash all over the place, and it all ends up in these creeks. So yeah, every year we host this community event, and it has a really good turnout. So in total, we collected about 250 bags of trash out of the stream. The unfortunate thing is we're expecting to get just as much trash next year. But yeah, we saw lots of kids there, which is always really nice to see, get them while they're young, thinking about the environment. And of course, a lot of people that show up every year, which is also really important to us.
Yeah, it was a really big turnout. I live up the street from the event as well, so it was nice to see everybody out there. And then, of course, I went and harassed everybody because that's what I do. Is there anything that anybody else would like to share while we're here?
I have a couple other things that
Of course.
I would like to share. At the NBN, we recently, as a part of the same projects that we're doing the webinar series for, we did a public survey of opinion on nature-based and natural infrastructure. And the results have been out for a little while, but we've recently been we hosted a webinar last night to share the results in depth. I'm just sharing a link to the report here. And there will be a recording of the webinar shortly. And we've been doing some media engagement around it as well. Been interviewing La Crédit Nouvelle and Radio Canada, and have one with CBC, the English side of CBC this afternoon. So yeah, it showed some really good support level for nature-based solutions in New Brunswick, as well as the need for more education around it. So yeah, I'd share that. And the other thing, which is not related to my work at the NBN, but I also I'm a climate fellow with Inspiring Communities, and I mentioned at the last meeting, but didn't have the information up, that I'm hosting a panel on May 29th on queer climate justice perspective. And I'm sharing the link in the chat, and have some really phenomenal panelists, and we'll be exploring the intersections between climate justice and queer liberation and rights. And how their lived experiences, as well as their work in the environmental and queer services fields, intersect with each other. So yeah, those are the couple other things to share. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm excited to look at I did not catch the event last night, so I'll check out the recording. I do have an email here from Shitangshu as well while we're here. So I can share a little bit about what he was talking about. So essentially, Shitangshu works with the Oath Project out of Halifax. That's One Act to Help Earth. They're the ones that helped co-bring to us EarthNet. And essentially they do a number of work with youth. So what they're doing right now is they have essentially they're looking for additional judges for their climate change makers. Essentially, they have another record year of over 320 youth from over 30 countries and 6 continents. And then he says in parentheses, still no Antarctica with a little penguin, which is great, but it means that they need some help on the judging side. And since we are such a great band of intellectuals here that are so well equipped to do this, he was hoping that we could help collect some judges for them. So they're looking for 3 to 4 people who are interested. They have about 20 folks who are doing it now. And yeah, he gave me some graphics here that I can share with our follow-up as well. But essentially, here's a link. And if you guys are looking at helping, oh, of course, I didn't actually add the link. If you guys are looking at helping and being a judge for the Climate Change Makers Challenge 2023. So it's a 2-day challenge. The whole idea is to create solutions for the climate crisis. And yeah, I'll add this link right here. If you guys are interested, I myself am most likely going to sign up. So I hope to see you there.
Thanks for sharing all this stuff, guys. It's really helpful. We're getting some good content blasted out. So keep it coming.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea, right? Like, just think of it. There's only a few of us here. Like, as we grow in capacity and there's more people in the room, like, this is just going to explode. And all of us, our heads will spin with all of the amazing things that we're and the opportunities that we're going to have to work collaboratively with each other.
Yeah,
Now
I
we
mean,
have
you're
about,
not just, oh, sorry,
yeah, go
Ashley,
ahead, Drew, go.
Oh, I just wanted to mention, like, you're not just, as we post this out, like, we've got thousands of people on our group chats and channels here. So it's going out to whatever you post here is being seen by many people. So it's well worth your while to for all this information that you're sharing. It's going to be going beyond this meeting for sure. So just want everybody to.
It's like an advertisement / a warning.
Yeah, make it, it's all just links here, so it's good.
So quick question, Ashley, when's the invitation gonna be going out for the speaker series?
So the invitation, like the event is already live on Eventbrite. So there has been people who have already been registering since I've put it up. The invitation is going to go out to our membership on Monday. So that's going to be like a formal e-blast saying, hey, look at us. We've got this cool, interesting stuff that's going on, and with all the details for the link. We're also going to include the details for the event in our like our follow-up for this. So there'll be technically 2 instances where you're going to receive the information. One is going to be the follow-up for this one, and the next one is going to be its own separate e-blast.
Okay, my question, next question is how do I share that with people that are outside of our network?
Because our e-blast is on MailChimp, essentially there's this opportunity for you. There's a button at the top that says view in browser. And so there is a link there that you'll be able to share with anybody, whether or not they have signed up to be part of our membership or whether or not they are subscribed to our list or however that goes. We can just share it out from there.
I've got a lot of people on share with.
Awesome. And so do I. And I encourage all of you guys as well, like participate however you can. And if you feel that you know of an opportunity for a business to get involved, like let them know as well, right? And like I said, like a part of what we want to do is offer more opportunity for us to connect on different levels based on our various goals. So we have a few minutes left, and usually we would do a roundtable at this time, but since we've already got to that one, I was hoping that maybe we could talk about opportunities that you would like the state the station, going back to radio there, that you would like the network to provide for you. I know it's hard to think like, See, the way that I look at this is like our goals at the network are to essentially be the puzzle piece that connects the stakeholders, ENGOs, academics, everybody that's working in the space to create that conversation. But the way that I look at it is that all of you have your own specific objectives and goals within your mandates, within your positions. And what we would like to do is we would like to essentially collaborate. So if anything that is to do with engagement, talking to people, education, if you're looking for volunteers, anything that will help further your work. So if you're looking for industry connections or academic connections, you're looking for speakers, you're looking for specific resources on a topic, or you're looking to conduct a conversation. So this is something that we're talking about as well when we get into like caucuses. One of our meetings a few months ago was very watershed focused, and we had a number of groups participating from all of these different watersheds. And it kind of illuminated the fact that there is no actual pan-Atlantic conversation happening, even though we're such a small region. So things that I've thought about off the top of my head that I've noticed is obviously like a watershed caucus talking about, you know, people who are doing the work. Another one is that an Atlantic Education Alliance caucus. So essentially, we have a lot of conversations that happen at different levels. And I think that education is a communal thing that starts honestly from the moment you're born until the moment you leave. And as long as we continue to compartmentalize the education, it's not going to have that same impact of delivery or the same continuity or resources. So something I was also thinking about was an opportunity to facilitate conversation along all of the educators who are doing the work. I was wondering if that kind of triggered anything for you guys. What are your goals and your mandates that you think, oh, how am I going to accomplish that? And can we help? Now, of course, I don't expect all of the answers right now, but if anything comes up in your mind, just feel free to reach out because that's what we're looking to do come like September and the new year. Stephanie, did you want to add something?
Popped up because it's maybe not really specific to that, but it would be nice to know. And I think I heard one of the speakers talk about engagement and how maybe you talked about actually how we're not people are maybe now wanting more say in how they're engaged. Maybe people who do engagement, those of us here or in our networks who do engagement, it would be really great if we think of new ways of doing it and then sharing how it went. Because I think everyone is frustrated maybe by the limitations of engagement in the past. But now that we have more voices and more perspectives, but maybe also more technology tools, maybe there are just some different ways. And it's okay if they fell a little bit in certain areas, but then there's maybe hope in trying to discover other areas where it could be helpful. I find that would be really helpful from my work.
And even like sharing anecdotal experiences, what went wrong, what didn't, what went wrong, what didn't go wrong. So what went right. That's a great opportunity. I think that's a wonderful thing, and I've written that down. So let's see what the future holds. Now we have a few more minutes left. Is there anything that anybody wanted to bring up while we're all in the same room, or anything that they feel needs to be amplified? Or anything that you think is a really interesting topic?
Jack, did you have any photos or anything from the cleanup?
They found a decapitated crow. They might have a picture of that. It wasn't a real crow. It was a plastic crow.
Yeah, there's been 2 social media posts on Instagram, I think, with lots of pictures. But if you want anything specific, I could also probably send you some, or I can get the social media person to do that.
Yeah, even just a link would be great. I mean, you don't, no pressure, but if you have one readily at hand, I'd take it.
I'll find that now, actually.
Any big plans for the summer? I know that there's a lot of things going on. Does anybody need any help volunteer recruiting? So as we go into field work and we go into, more summer outdoor activities and engagement in that method, for us on the call and us, catching the recording later, if you need help with helping find volunteers, getting the word out, let us know with that as well. We want to make sure that there's opportunities for everybody to participate in what's happening locally as well.
I'd also add, if you can think of any partners or people you work with that are looking for that, please invite them to the next meetings as well, so we can help support them too.
Awesome. And with that, I think that we can take a few minutes left of our day, especially for those of us who have back-to-back meetings all the time. Oh, Shatangshu just pops in right now, of course. Let's give him a say and then we'll go. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Good afternoon. I'm back in Chiboucto, and yes, it is good afternoon here.
So
Yes,
I
I'm
shared
sorry
a
for
little about, no, it's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
the meeting.
I shared a little about your event and the link, but if you wanted to go into more detail, now is a great time.
Oh, yay. Okay, perfect. Okay, maybe it's good timing. Well, hi everyone. So my name is Shatangshu, and yeah, I'm with the Oath Project, and I guess I've probably introduced myself at various points with other folks. But we are alongside EarthNet and also the Youth Impact Challenge, for which I serve as executive director, and that's why I had a meeting just now. We are co-organizing the 3rd edition of the Climate Change Makers Challenge. So basically the concept is we bring youth across the world together to collaborate and create solutions for the climate crisis. There's a competition element to it, but a big kind of overriding theme is a competition over collaboration. There's been 320 plus youth from 32 countries, I believe, so far that have joined, which has been exciting. Yeah, from every continent except Antarctica, so no penguins. That's okay. But yes, so we are, so it's been great, but also we had like 25 ish judges kind of sorted, but now we're like, we might need a few more. So basically we are kind of desperate for judges. It's kind of the situation. I'm gonna attach a thing. And also if anyone wants to participate or share the word, there's this thing on Instagram. The registration deadline is tomorrow. So if you have networks to share it, I think that'd be incredible. And in terms of judges, I'll share just the little kind of information. It's very last minute, but the judge commitment is next week. So it's actually it's 1 week. It's a week commitment from May 24 to May 30. And it's 2 to 3 hours within that time. So basically it's 2 to 3 hours, but it's on your own time. It's all virtual. It's not like a meeting that you have to attend. It's you just, you can do like half an hour here, half an hour there, an hour here, an hour there. That's usually what people do. Most people split it in two. It's from when I've chatted with judges in the past. The idea too is it's like anyone, we're very open to different backgrounds. In particular, just the kind of key is some experience in the social and environmental impact space, which obviously you folks would have. I'm just putting the thing in. And yeah, like wanting to care about the climate crisis. It is a volunteer role, or hopefully maybe organizations are okay with work time going into that. That would be amazing. But here, I'm gonna attach a graphic here. Okay, so maybe that'll be my spiel. And if there's any questions, let me know. Yeah, there's a graphic. There's judge call out. Feel free to share it in your networks if you will. I believe NBN will be doing it. So anyone from there is there. Thank you, Lily and crew for doing that. And then yeah, we get together just even a couple more people. I know everyone's busy too, so it's super no worries if not, and maybe it's even for a future or whatever. But thank you, folks. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, let me know.
Shatangshu, do you have a actual link to that, or is that just a PDF?
So this is what I'll do. Drew, I have your email, so I can send you information. It's not a link. No, it's not like a form where you sign up. It's basically just email and or it might be over Slack to be correspond, and then you'll be on a list, and then from your email we're gonna send out judge packages once we have them. So yeah, there's not a link to that. So it is just that so far. But I will actually to register climatechangemakers2023.devpost.com. So if you're looking for a link, that's probably one, and that's for the event itself. So that's not judge facing, that's participant facing.
Can you just throw that in the chat there, my friend?
Yes, I will throw that in the chat. I'm gonna make it like an actual with the HTTPS and stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. And you can count me in there, Shatangshu.
Yay, amazing. Thank you so much, Ashley. All that you've got going on to make that time. It means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, man. It's all about doing the good work, right? And that's what I love to do. And so with that, I love that. That was a great way to come in. Just drop it like it's hot there. And that dated me. I just realized how much that dated me. But with that, again, so much gratitude for all of you for joining us today. I appreciate all the work that you all put forward to helping, change the world and the way we view things and, hopefully life for all of us. And if there is any way that the ACCN team can help further your work, please do not hesitate to reach out. The more that you reach out and let us know what your needs are, the more that we can work towards meeting them. So with that, our next meeting is going to be June 15th, the third Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. Now, this is our last meeting before the summer break. It's going to be our last meeting before our innovation speaker series as well. So we'll promote it there. And then we will fully reconvene in September, but we will have a little bit of just a social get together in August. Again, third week, just if anybody wants to come and say, hi, this is what we're doing. This is the work that we've done over the summer, and just touch base before we get into the depths of September. So with that, all that information will be included in our follow-up. If there's anything else additionally that you'd like for us to include, just make sure you email us, Atlantic Canada Climate Network at climatereality.ca. If you're unable to attend meetings but still want us to amplify work, just send us an email and we'll make sure that it gets on the call and that it gets on the follow-up as well. With that, again, so much gratitude. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Actually, there's a question in the chat, by the way.
Oh, there's a
I
question.
think you answered it.
Okay, perfect.
I was just saying, if anything pops up in the summer, we can send it to you for distribution in the network. Yeah, perfect.
Yes, 100%. And that's exactly how that Atlantic Canada Climate Network at climatereality.ca, or you could just reach out to me in general and I'll make sure that it gets out there. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
don't
all.
be afraid to use the Facebook channels either, right? So we're always around. Thanks, guys.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Thanks,
Ashley, don't
Ashley.
run away. Need to pick your brain just for 2 minutes.
No worries.
PlayX, who is the contact?